What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back again to my YouTube channel, bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, we're going to be talking about GOLBEZ, as GOLBEZ is going to be getting a rework, the debut of his LD weapon, and the debut of his burst weapon in conjunction with the Divine Alexander event going live soon to Global Opera Omnia. But before we talk about that, if you guys are brand new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. That way you guys are not missing out on future uploads. And if you guys enjoy what you see on this channel, be sure to hit that like button and share this video as it does help me out. Don't forget as always to check out all of the fantastic resources out there for Dissidia Opera Omnia. Links will be down below in the video description as well as the pinned comment. And last but not least, don't forget to check out all of the rest of the fantastic content creators for this game. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about GOLBEZ, his rework, and the debut of his LD and burst weapons. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and talk about GOLBEZ, what his rework does, and what his LD and burst weapons bring to the table. Something that I do want to point out in this showcase is that my GOLBEZ on JP does have his burst plus all the way fully realized, so the animation and the damage might look a little different from what we're going to be getting in Global, but just to note, later on he does get a burst plus, and I do have that active right now on JP. So we're going to go ahead and do for the showcase is first go into his EX, because remember, after you use GOLBEZ's EX, he does get a free skill usage on his next turn for his C65, Skill 1, and Skill 2. So let's go ahead and start off with that, and then afterwards we're going to get into the good stuff of the video. There we go. Alright, so now what we're going to go ahead and do is actually go into the burst phase, so then we could talk about all of the reworks and the LD and all that good stuff without any interruption. Alright, so let's start things off with his Skill 1 Rising Wave. So the rework is going to give you 2 more skill usage for this skill. All variants of Rising Wave now deal 20% HP total damage to non-targets on the last attack. All variants will now have a higher Brave potency. All variants grant him a brand new framed buff called Clad in Black for 8 turns, which increases his own max Brave and attack by 40%. And now each variant also does get an upgrade with the rework. So the base variant of Rising Wave is going to be a 2-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack plus HP attack, followed by a 2-hit Dark Magic Brave Attack plus HP attack. The plus variant is going to be a 2-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack plus HP attack, followed by a 2-hit Dark Magic Brave Attack plus HP attack, followed by a 2-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack plus HP attack from Shadow Dragon, and then the plus variant is going to be a 3-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack plus HP attack, followed by a 3-hit Dark Magic Brave Attack plus HP attack, followed by a 3-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack plus HP attack from Shadow Dragon. A lot to remember there, but the most important one obviously is going to be the plus variant, which you gain access from by having 3 stacks of the Shadow Dragon. So let's go ahead and take a look at that here. Very, very cool. So 3 HP dumps total, which is awesome. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the rework for his skill 2, which is Glare Hand. So the rework provides him 2 more uses for the skill. It now adds an AoE HP attack before the Dark AoE Magic Brave attack. It now deals split HP damage and has a 150% Stolen Brave Overflow. It's also going to be inflicting Dark Imperil now on all enemies for 4 turns on the first HP attack. And it also grants him his new framed buff Clad in Black for 8 turns. His Brave Attack Plus also gets a small rework, now dealing 3 Brave hits, and his Shadow Dragon also now deals 2 Brave hits with his Brave Attack Plus. So let's go ahead and take a look at Glare Hand here. There we go. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and move on to the LD, which is going to be one of the new weapons that he's going to be getting. So his LD, fully max limit broken and with LD boards, is going to grant him access to his LD skill called Black Fang with 4 total uses. It's going to be permanently increasing his own attack by 120%, and at the start of the quest, Golbez is going to have 6 turns of his new framed buffs, which are Black Fang and Clad in Black. He's going to be delivering a 4-hit Dark AoE Magic Brave Attack plus AoE HP attack delivered 4 times with a 60% increased Brave damage on a single target, 150% stolen Brave Overflow. He's now going to be inflicting Dark Imperil on all targets for 4 turns. After the first HP attack, he's going to be granted 3 stacks of his Shadow Dragon and his new framed buff Black Fang for 6 turns. Black Fang is going to be increasing his own HP damage dealt by 10% and also healing his own Brave by 20% of the HP damage he deals once per turn. And with the LD, Shadow Dragon is going to have some new effects. So the new effects from Shadow Dragon is any type of Brave or HP damage that Golbez receives is going to be reduced by 60%, and it's also going to be increasing his own Brave gain by 20% when he is hitting weakness. He's also going to have access to Brave Attack Plus, which is a 4-hit Dark Magic Brave Attack, followed by a 3-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack from Shadow Dragon, and as well as HP Attack Plus, which is a 3-hit Dark Magic Brave Attack plus HP attack, followed by a 2-hit Dark Melee Brave Attack plus HP attack from Shadow Dragon. So a pretty loaded LD, at least in my opinion. It gives him a lot and makes him a lot more offensively, you know, hitting hard and all that good stuff, and also much higher survivability rate with the new effects from Shadow Dragon. So let's go ahead and take a look at Black Fang. There we go. As you can see, it does a ton of damage and hits like a truck. So it's pretty powerful. It's a very, very powerful LD. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the burst once we actually get there. Now remember, because this is a burst plus version of his weapon, he also will be getting an additional turn in the burst phase. That's something that we get later on when burst plus comes out. But we're here at least for the burst and what it does, and also the really cool animation that it does. So. All right, here we go. So his burst, or his finished burst at least, is going to grant him access to his finished burst called Twin Moon. It's going to be delivering a 15-hit Dark AoE Magic Brave Attack plus HP attack with 60% increased Brave damage on a single target, dealing 100% AoE HP damage dealt to all targets with 200% maximum Brave damage limit up to 11,998, 80% maximum obtainable Brave and HP damage limit up to 179,998. Now the party-wide burst effect that you're going to be getting from using this finish burst is going to have a 4-turn duration. It's going to be increasing Brave damage dealt by 50%, increasing maximum Brave damage limit by 20% up to 11,998, and as well as increasing stolen Brave overflow limit by 30%. And then the other effect that this has, which is really powerful, is it freezes all enemies' Brave. So pretty much think of Setzer's debuff, where it freezes their Brave and they can't gain Brave, but it's in the form of an aura. So it's very, very powerful, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the burst here. Now remember, this is the Burst Plus version, so the damage is going to be much higher from this demonstration, but the animation is pretty much the same for the regular burst. He literally summons 2 moons that crushes the enemy. It's super, super cool to see. There we go. And we completely nuked this Divine Alexander. This is the Cosmos version that I'm doing this demonstration on, but you know, it's what it is. I just want to show you guys what Golbez can do. But yeah, that burst effect is pretty loaded from my perspective, and I really do like the freeze effect that it applies on all enemies. Now, recommended artifact passes for Golbez, you're going to want to go with Attack plus 108 times 3 and Lunarian Descendant Boost 2-star times 3. That way he's always hitting hard, because that's what he does. He's a powerhouse dark damage dealer. Now the HG armor, if you do invest in it, it's going to be increasing the Brave damage dealt limit up of 9,999 by 15%, up to 11,498. And if you decide to fully realize his HG armor, it's going to be increasing his own brave damage limit he deals up to 14,498, as well as increasing his own held brave and HP damage dealt up to 124,998. So after all is said and done, what are my personal takes on Golbez? He's definitely become even more of a powerhouse dark damage dealer with multiple brave and HP attacks across all his skills and commands. He has his ability to inflict Dark Imperil on the first HP attacks ensures that his efficiency as a damage dealer will always be there, since he's going to be hitting weakness, provided that, they don't absorb Dark or have any other resistances or things like that. He also has good longevity with more skill uses, and also don't forget the free skill usage after using his EX, and even better survivability with new effects to Shadow Dragon. So he becomes a little tanky for a DPS unit because he's getting that 60%, brave and HP damage reduced that he receives. But however, outside of his awesome burst effect, if you don't have his burst, he is a very selfish damage dealer, as he provides very little to your party outside of raw damage. And let's not forget, he is a mixed damage dealer because he will be dealing magic damage and melee damage. So sometimes it can be slightly awkward to play him. However, his burst effect, if you do have it, is nothing to scoff at. It also helps your party's offense with the brave damage up and the stolen brave overflow limit and things like that. And also the ability to freeze enemy brave in the form of an aura is super powerful because you're not relying on a debuff to do it that could potentially be cleansed or pushed off. It is in the form of an aura, so you could really take advantage of that. Like, let's say, I'm thinking of different combos, like for example, trap characters can really work well with that effect, or characters that constantly take turns that like to re-break, such as Lightning, for example, can really take advantage of this as well. Later on, I think Vayne could actually take advantage of this burst effect as well, because they're always going to be, getting broken anyways, because he's going to keep their brave frozen. So very, very powerful effect, and I personally am going to be pulling with gems for his LD. He is a favorite of mine, and I do enjoy him. I enjoy him on JP, and I'm for sure going to enjoy him again on Global, and I'm going to be potentially tokening his burst because I do have some saved up tokens. Now, I do want to address a hot take to watch out for. This is going to be something new that I'm going to be adding here and there to my videos if I hear a hot take floating around about these characters. Now, full disclosure, this hot take does not apply to you if 1, you are low on resources, or 2, you have no interest in Golbez whatsoever. You don't like how he plays. So this does not apply to you. But the hot take you want to watch out for is comparing Bartz to Golbez, or saying Golbez gets crept easily, is not a good reason to tell yourself to skip him, because that is severely undervaluing what he can do. Bartz is a character that ideally needs the burst weapon to really appreciate the value of what he brings, whereas Golbez, if you are going to just fulfill his role as a powerhouse DPS, all he needs is his LD. You don't really need the burst. And I do have a burst evaluation on what both of these characters do. You can find that in the playlist down in the video description, as well as the pinned comments. Also, furthermore, they fulfill completely different roles. One's a damage dealer, the other one is utility that's also an aura bot that has fantastic auras for your party, and also a battery, and he does gravity. So they're very different characters. Both are awesome, and while yes, Bartz is overall regulated to being more useful, just keep in mind that he needs full investment to really see his potential. At least from my perspective, he needs the full investment to really, really make use of him. So if you're skipping Golbez because you're telling yourself that, oh, Bartz is much better, he gets crept by Bartz, he gets crept by content, that's not a good reason to skip him, guys. Just all I'm saying is don't undervalue the character and watch out for hot takes like that, especially if you're deciding whether or not you're going to be pulling for Golbez. So again, that also doesn't apply to you if 1, you're low on resources, or 2, you just have no interest in Golbez. So that hot take won't apply, but just watch out for it if you're seeing it floating around. So anyways, guys, we're also going to talk about the banners that's going to be coming out real quickly. Banner 1 is going to have Golbez Burst, LD, EX 35 and 15. Featured alongside that is going to be Shadow's gear and Laguna's gear. Both characters, especially well, Laguna doesn't even have LD yet on JP. If you're missing their gear, it's on there, but Those two characters aren't what you're going to be chasing for, but Golbez BT and all of the rest of his gear is going to be there if you want it there. And then Banner 2 is going to have Golbez BT, and you're also going to have a chance to get Hope's LD again, who I personally myself still use Hope either as a party member, and I've also really used him more so as a call now in conjunction like with Terra, for example, so it really amps up the amount of magic damage that she deals. And then we're also going to have Vivi's EX 35 and 15 on the banner, Vivi being one of our global first LDs. However, sadly, his LD's not on this banner, but if you are missing some of his gear, it's there. And also Thancred, who I feel like is another character that really needs some love at this point. Maybe a global first LD, who knows what they have planned for him. But yeah, his EX 35 and 15 are on this banner as well. So again, I personally am going to be pulling for Golbez. I find a lot of value in him. He is a favorite. For you guys, just take a look at your roster, research on these characters too. Check out all the rest of the videos that are put out by the fantastic content creators for this game, so then that way you guys have an educated decision that you could formulate when you guys are deciding whether or not you're going to be investing in these characters. Alright guys, well this is going to go ahead and conclude my video for Golbez. Hopefully it helps you guys out. Stay tuned for the next video, and mahal everyone.